Hey everyone, it's Harry, your host from Money Teacher. If you're a senior, a retiree, or someone who depends on Social Security, pensions, or fixed monthly income, what we're talking about right now truly matters to your everyday life. There has been a lot of noise, a lot of headlines, and a lot of confusion surrounding claims of a new executive order connected to the current administration and something being called dividend stimulus checks. Some people are excited, others are worried. Many are simply confused. Today, we are going to slow this down, explain what is actually being discussed, what has been officially confirmed, what is still under review, and how all of this could affect older Americans in practical, real-world terms. Before we dive deeper, I want you to understand that this conversation is about clarity, not hype. Too many sources are either exaggerating what's happening or downplaying something that could genuinely help millions of Americans. My goal here is to give you the truth, the context, and the practical steps you need to protect yourself and potentially benefit from what's being proposed. So, let's take a breath. Set aside the fear and the excitement for just a moment, and focus on what we actually know. Let's begin with the phrase that's been spreading fast: a new executive order confirmed. What this refers to is a formal directive framework that outlines how future economic relief tied to national revenue, domestic investment returns, and federal cost savings could be structured. It does not mean that checks are already printed or that deposits are already scheduled. What it does mean is that a policy direction has been officially acknowledged and documented, opening the door for dividend-style payments rather than traditional one-time stimulus checks. The word dividend is important here. A dividend, in simple terms, is money paid out from gains or savings. Instead of borrowing trillions of dollars like earlier stimulus programs, this concept focuses on redistributing gains from domestic production, energy development, tariffs, and federal budget efficiencies. The goal is to reward Americans, especially seniors and working families, without adding long-term debt pressure. This represents a fundamental shift in how government relief is conceptualized, moving away from emergency debt-funded measures toward a model based on actual revenue generation and savings. Think of it this way. When a company performs well, it sometimes shares those profits with shareholders through dividends. This proposal applies a similar philosophy to government operations. If federal policies generate new revenue through increased domestic energy production, tariff collections, or reduced wasteful spending, a portion of those gains could be returned directly to the American people. This is not charity. This is not welfare. This is a return on the investment that taxpayers have made in this country for decades. Now, why does this matter to seniors specifically? Because seniors are the most vulnerable to inflation, rising healthcare costs, property taxes, insurance increases, and food price spikes. Fixed incomes do not stretch the way salaries sometimes can. When working people face rising costs, they can sometimes pick up extra shifts, negotiate raises, or change jobs. Retirees do not have those options. Every price increase comes directly out of a budget that cannot easily expand. Policymakers understand that when prices rise faster than Social Security cost of living adjustments, seniors fall behind. That gap is exactly what dividend-style relief is meant to address. Another reason seniors are central to this discussion is timing and accessibility. Traditional stimulus programs in the past focused heavily on working-age households, dependent, and tax filers. Many retirees felt left behind or confused about eligibility. Some seniors who no longer file tax returns missed out entirely because the system was not designed with them in mind. This new framework places existing benefit recipients, including Social Security retirees, disability recipients, and survivors into early consideration categories because their records are already verified and updated. The infrastructure already exists to reach these individuals quickly and accurately, which makes them a logical priority group. Additionally, seniors represent a population that has contributed to this country for their entire working lives. They paid into Social Security. They paid taxes. They built the economy that younger generations now benefit from. There is both a moral and practical argument for ensuring that economic gains are shared with those who laid the foundation. This is not about handouts. This is about recognition and fairness. Let's talk clearly about what has been confirmed and what is not. What has been confirmed is the policy direction and authorization to explore dividend-based relief mechanisms. Official documents have outlined the framework, the philosophy, and the potential funding sources. What has not been confirmed are payment amounts, final eligibility rules, or deposit dates. Anyone claiming specific dollar figures or exact payment days right now is speculating. That does not mean relief is imaginary. It means the structure is still being finalized through proper channels, budget reviews, and legal assessments. There is also confusion about whether this replaces Social Security or affects your monthly benefits. The answer is no. This type of dividend payment, if approved for distribution, would be separate from your Social Security check. It would not reduce your retirement benefit. It would not count as earned income for tax purposes, and it would not replace cost of living adjustments. Instead, it would act as supplemental relief arriving in addition to what you already receive. Your existing benefits remain fully protected and unchanged. This distinction is critical because fear spreads quickly, and many seniors have been worried that accepting additional help might jeopardize what they already depend on. That is not the case here. Many seniors have asked whether pensions are included in this conversation. The answer is yes, but indirectly. Private and public pensions are not issued by the federal government in the same way Social Security is. So, the government cannot directly control pension amounts or timing. However, the entire purpose of dividend relief is to offset rising costs that pensions do not adjust for. That means policymakers are fully aware that pensioners are among the groups most affected by inflation, especially those who retired decades ago on fixed formulas that never anticipated today's cost of living. If you retired 20 or 30 years ago with a pension that seemed generous at the time, you know exactly what I'm talking about. What bought a comfortable lifestyle in 1995 or 2005 does not go nearly as far today. Inflation has eroded purchasing power year after year, and most pensions do not include automatic adjustments. Dividend relief recognizes this reality and seeks to provide support that traditional pension structures cannot. Another key point that needs to be addressed is taxes. Seniors are understandably concerned about whether this money would be taxable. While final guidance has not been issued, early policy language suggests these payments would be treated similarly to disaster relief or economic relief credits rather than taxable income. That means they would likely not increase your tax bill or reduce means-tested benefits. Final confirmation will come later, but this is a positive sign based on how similar programs have been structured in the past. Understanding the tax implications matters enormously, especially for seniors who are careful about staying within income thresholds for programs like Medicaid, subsidized housing, or prescription assistance. The last thing anyone wants is to receive a helpful payment only to discover it disqualified them from other critical support. The intent behind this policy is to avoid exactly that kind of unintended consequence. There is also discussion about how payments would be delivered. The most likely method would be direct deposit to the same account used for Social Security or federal benefits. For seniors who still receive paper checks, alternative delivery methods would remain available. The goal is speed, accuracy, and minimal paperwork. No new applications have been announced, and current planning relies heavily on existing federal records. This is one of the strongest advantages of prioritizing Social Security recipients. The payment infrastructure already exists, reducing delays and administrative burdens. It is also important to understand why this process takes time. Executive orders set direction, but implementation involves multiple agencies, budget analysis, legal review, and coordination with payment systems. Rushing this step would create errors, delays, and frustration. While patience is difficult, especially when money is tight, careful planning protects seniors from mistakes that could disrupt benefits or create confusion. The government is not moving slowly to be difficult. It is moving carefully to avoid the kinds of problems that plagued earlier relief efforts, where millions of payments were delayed, sent to wrong accounts, or issued to ineligible recipients. Think back to previous stimulus rounds. How many stories did you hear about checks going to deceased individuals, payments being sent to old addresses, or people waiting months for money they were supposed to receive immediately? Those problems were largely the result of rushing implementation without proper systems in place. Learning from those mistakes means taking the time now to do things correctly, even if it feels frustratingly slow. Right now, the most important thing seniors can do is ensure their information is accurate. This includes banking details, mailing addresses, and benefit records. Many payment delays in the past were not caused by lack of eligibility, but by outdated information. Staying current helps ensure that if and when payments are issued, they reach you without complications. If you have moved in the past year, changed banks, or updated any personal information, make sure the Social Security Administration has those updates. A simple phone call or online update now could prevent significant delays later. As we move forward, it is critical to stay grounded in facts and not panic over social media rumors. Headlines are designed to grab attention, not explain nuance. The reality is more measured, but also more promising in the long term. Dividend-style relief reflects a shift in how economic support is delivered, especially for retirees who have contributed for decades. This is not a short-term band-aid. This is a potential long-term approach to sharing national prosperity with the people who helped create it. In the next part, we will go deeper into how this potential dividend stimulus interacts with Social Security adjustments, Medicare costs, inflation pressures, and what realistic expectations seniors should have moving forward. We will also discuss practical steps you can take now to protect your financial stability and prepare for possible relief without falling for misinformation. For now, remember this: nothing you are currently receiving is being taken away. No benefits are being canceled. This conversation is about possible additional support, not loss. Understanding that difference alone can bring peace of mind during uncertain times. Welcome back. Now that we've clearly established what this proposed dividend stimulus framework is and what it is not, let's focus on how this conversation connects directly to your everyday expenses and long-term financial security as a senior in the United States. Information only helps if it leads to clarity, confidence, and better decision. So that's exactly where we're going now. One of the biggest pressures seniors face today is inflation that moves faster than benefit adjustments. Even when Social Security provides a cost of living increase, it often reflects last year's inflation rather than what you're paying right now. The way these adjustments are calculated means they are always looking backward. By the time you receive an increase, prices have often already moved higher. Grocery prices, utilities, insurance premiums, and prescription costs tend to rise unevenly, and seniors feel those increases first because they spend a higher percentage of their income on these necessities. Dividend-style relief is designed to fill that gap, especially during periods of economic transition. When inflation spikes suddenly due to global events, supply chain disruptions, or energy price shocks, Social Security adjustments cannot respond fast enough. A dividend payment system, because it is tied to current revenue and can be deployed more quickly than legislative changes, offers a way to provide timely support when seniors need it most. Medicare is another major factor. While Social Security checks may increase, Medicare Part B premiums, prescription drug costs, and supplemental insurance often rise at the same time or faster. This creates a frustrating cycle where increases cancel each other out. You might receive a 3% cost of living adjustment only to see your Medicare premium increase by a similar amount, leaving you with little or no actual gain. Policymakers are aware of this problem, and any additional relief is meant to help offset healthcare-related expenses that are unavoidable for older adults. Healthcare costs are not optional for seniors. These are not discretionary expenses that can be cut from a budget. Medications, doctor visits, medical equipment, and insurance are necessities. When these costs rise without corresponding increases in income, seniors are forced to make impossible choices. Some skip medications, others delay necessary care. Some cut back on food or heating to afford medical bills. Dividend relief aims to prevent these kinds of devastating trade-offs. There has also been concern about whether receiving additional relief could affect eligibility for programs like SSI, Medicaid, or housing assistance. While final rules are not yet released, the intent of dividend relief is not to punish seniors for receiving help. Historically, relief payments structured as economic support have been excluded from asset and income calculations for a certain period. This approach protects vulnerable seniors from losing critical assistance simply because they received temporary relief. This is an important protection that advocates have fought hard to maintain. The principle is simple. Emergency or supplemental payments should not create new hardships by triggering benefit reductions elsewhere. For seniors who qualify for multiple support programs, this coordination is essential. Losing Medicaid coverage, for example, could cost far more than any dividend payment provides. Ensuring these programs work together rather than against each other is a key consideration in policy design. Another question many retirees ask is whether this kind of program could happen more than once. The answer is that dividend-style payments are designed to be flexible. They can expand or contract depending on economic conditions, federal revenue, and national priorities. Unlike emergency stimulus checks issued during crisis, dividends are tied to performance and savings. That means they may not be one-time events, but they are also not guaranteed every year. This flexibility is both a strength and a challenge. On one hand, it means the government can respond to changing conditions and provide support when it is most needed. On the other hand, it means seniors cannot plan on this income the way they plan on Social Security. It is supplemental by nature, not foundational. Understanding this distinction helps set appropriate expectations. This is where realistic expectations matter. Seniors should not budget future expenses based on money that has not yet been issued. At the same time, understanding the direction of policy helps you plan conservatively rather than fearfully. Hope should be balanced with preparation. Do not count on dividend payments to cover essential bills until they are confirmed and in your account. But also, do not dismiss the possibility or ignore opportunities to ensure you are positioned to receive them if they arrive. There are also scams that unfortunately target seniors during times like this. Anytime headlines mention stimulus or government payments, scammers become active. They send fake messages claiming you need to confirm information or pay a fee to receive money. This is never true. The federal government does not charge fees to issue benefits, and it does not ask for personal information through unsolicited calls or messages. Be especially wary of anyone who contacts you first, whether by phone, email, or text message. Legitimate government communications about benefits come through official mail or through secure online portals you access directly, not through links in emails. If someone claims you need to verify your Social Security number, bank account, or other personal details to receive a payment, that is a scam. Hang up. Delete the message. Do not engage. Scammers prey on urgency and confusion. They know that seniors want to receive help and may act quickly if they think they might miss out. Protect yourself by remembering that legitimate government processes do not rush you or threaten consequences for not responding immediately. If you are unsure about any communication, contact the Social Security Administration directly using a phone number you look up yourself, not one provided in a suspicious message. Protecting yourself from fraud is just as important as understanding policy updates. Financial security is not just about what you receive, but also about what you protect from being stolen. Vigilance costs nothing, but saves everything. From a practical standpoint, seniors should focus on 3 core areas right now. First, maintain accurate records with Social Security and other benefit agencies. Second, review monthly expenses and identify where rising costs are putting pressure on your budget. Third, stay informed through reliable updates rather than rumors or emotionally charged headlines. Reviewing your expenses serves multiple purposes. It helps you understand where you are most vulnerable to inflation. It helps you identify potential areas for savings or assistance, and it helps you plan for how additional relief, if it arrives, could best be used. Maybe it goes toward building a small emergency fund. Maybe it helps pay down debt. Maybe it covers a necessary expense you have been delaying. Knowing your priorities in advance means you can use any help effectively rather than letting it slip through your fingers. It is also helpful to understand that executive actions do not exist in isolation. They interact with Congress, federal agencies, and economic realities. While an executive order can set priorities, implementation depends on cooperation and feasibility. That is why you may hear different interpretations from different sources. Some focus on best-case scenarios. Others focus on obstacles. The truth usually lives in between. Politics and policy are complex, and even well-intentioned plans face challenges during execution. Budget constraints, legal questions, administrative capacity, and political opposition can all slow or alter proposals. This does not mean the effort is pointless or that seniors are being misled. It means that between announcement and implementation, there is a process that takes time and involves many moving parts. For seniors, the most encouraging aspect of this entire discussion is that policymakers are openly acknowledging the long-term strain on retirees. That alone represents progress. For years, seniors have voiced concerns about affordability, healthcare, and dignity in retirement. Dividend-style relief is one response to those concerns, even if it is still evolving. The fact that seniors are being discussed as a priority, that their financial challenges are being taken seriously at the highest levels, marks a meaningful shift in how retirement security is approached. If you are retired, disabled, or living on a fixed income, staying calm and informed is your greatest strength. Financial stability is not just about dollars and cents. It's about confidence, planning, and knowing what changes do and do not affect you. Right now, no changes have been made to your existing benefits. That stability matters. You can breathe, you can plan, you can wait for confirmed information without fear that what you depend on is disappearing. As we wait for further clarification, remember that the purpose of government support programs is to serve you, not confuse you. When new information is confirmed, it will be communicated through official channels and reflected clearly in benefit systems. Until then, skepticism toward dramatic claims is healthy. Question sources, verify information, trust official announcements over social media speculation. In closing, let's recap what truly matters. There is an official policy direction exploring dividend-style stimulus relief tied to national revenue and savings. This does not cancel or replace Social Security or pensions. No final payment amounts or dates have been announced yet. Seniors remain a central focus due to rising living costs and fixed incomes. Protecting your information, avoiding scams, and staying grounded in facts will keep you safe during this period of discussion. You've earned your retirement through decades of work, contribution, and sacrifice. Every paycheck you earned, every tax you paid, every challenge you overcame contributed to building this country. Staying informed helps protect what you've built. As more updates become available, understanding them calmly and clearly will allow you to make the best decisions for your future. Thank you for taking the time to learn, and remember that knowledge is one of the strongest tools you have to safeguard your financial well-being. Stay patient, stay informed, and stay hopeful. Your financial security matters. Your peace of mind matters.